Welcome to the Southwest Manuscriptors October meeting. I'm Jerry Fonte, the program director. Van, our president, has designated me the co-president as well. So I am co-president / program director for the longest continuous running writers group west of the Rockies, of which Ray Bradbury was our figurehead. So that's our main claim to fame. So today's speaker, we have a real treat because it's a wife-husband team that helped produce this book, and it's yes, there we go.
Just happen to have it.
Right. So we have Trudy and Lou Wells. And Trudy, if you'd like to go ahead and start telling us about your book. And I don't know if you and Lou have worked out who you want to contribute or whatever, but let us know all about it. Okay. And thank you for joining us today.
Hello to everyone. Happy Saturday. Almost Sunday in Switzerland. Krista and Rita. Anyway, first, I'd like to thank you, Jerry, for inviting me and Lou, my husband, to speak about
Thank you.
my newly released memoir, My Dare to Be Different. Inspirational memoir, a collection of poetry, short stories, prose, and 182 pictures in color to fit the stories. Some things are simply meant to be. The reader will know why I chose the title of this inspiring book about the school of life, courage, adventure, joy, heartache, resilience, and love. My name is Trudy. I arrived in New York from the German-speaking part of Switzerland on June 18, 1965. I traveled on a massive ocean liner from England, my home for the longest days of my young life, surrounded by water, on my own, all by myself. Each moment of the voyage took me farther away from the only home I knew, growing up in a modest Swiss village, in an old house, where even dreaming had its limits, never knowing of Switzerland's admired beauty worldwide. For hours, I gazed at the brilliant, glittering sea, like dancing diamonds. Endless time to wonder and doubt that dream of coming to America. Fear, a constant companion. I was 23. Now, for all of you that do not know, I have been a part of the Southwest Manuscriptor Writers since 2010. When one of my short stories won first prize in a writer's contest, I found in one of the writers' magazines, possibly Writer's Digest, my first ever written poem won second prize. All that good news happened on my birthday, October 18, 2010. I could not believe, nevertheless, my winning, since I'm a hairstylist. Now, did this mean I'm a writer? Then in 2013, one of my stories, Normal, the meaning of one simple word, a cancer scare, received honorable mention. I have been getting these Southwest Surf Writers emails on a regular basis. However, the Right Stuff newsletter arrived by snail mail every month after my story won in 2010, making me feel like a writer. I miss that little paper. Now I like to describe the book. A teenager's dream, a legal immigrant who waited 11 months for a working visa, a green card. So much time to change my mind, dreaming of coming to America. The power of possibility took over my life at a young age, an urge to go confidently in the direction of dreams, hopeful for a place that would change my life. I believed something extraordinary is possible. I dared to dream, wondering how life would turn out. My boldest guess could not have been near the truth. I learned how truly fascinating daily life can turn on a small decision, mystery and a leap of faith, as I still marvel at the job offered at a well-established German salon in Atlanta, Georgia, while still in Thun, Switzerland, working at my parents' salon. Life's unpredictable effective ends at their finest. Some things are simply meant to be. Starry-eyed, I arrived in New York on a huge ocean liner, like a city on water from England, the first glimpse of the Statue of Liberty in the distance with her extended arm like a welcome. What a goosebump moment. A life unknown, alone, I stepped onto American soil speaking not too much English. My trusting faith and fate guides my life still today, believing in the power of possibilities as far back as living above my parents' hair salon, growing up in a tiny Swiss village. Walking off that ship in New York with 2 small suitcases, I inhaled a dose of determination as my thoughts strayed to my stern and also strict mom. Her amazing bragging words, my daughter can do anything. Excuse me. This was the moment to live up to extraordinary words. Eventually was now. Years later, I would come to understand from a tiny seed of such praise would emerge an exceptional will to cause my mom to be right. Thank you. I can see my mom and dad smile in heaven. Now, Trudy lives the elusive American dream laced with love, finding love beyond the stars. Now a little bit how this book came about. When Lou said, I can do that, we were in Coronado, California at our condo, home away from home in May 2018. I did not have any idea what he meant. I had a publisher back in Maine, the one that chose my stories and poems for 6 anthologies and published them starting in 2014 to 2020. How do I tell a temperamental editor as far away as Maine where to put a picture to fit the story or poem? What about 182 pictures? A little higher, a little lower, oh, a little more to the left. I was discouraged and upset when I heard Lou say, I can do that. There is life after aerospace engineering. I say where, and Lou says how. If it was not for this Wisconsin country boy who grew up on a farm and went to a 1-room schoolhouse from 1st to 8th grade, the smartest man I ever knew, I would not have a book. He is my publisher, formatting, etc. He did everything. Now let's have Lou tell you all about it, what he really did. Okay?
Okay. So thank you, Jerry, for inviting us today. Hope everyone can hear me.
Yeah.
To talk about Trudy's book. It is her book. She brags a little about me, but take that with a grain of salt, of course.
Oh,
Book business is somewhat new to me and to Trudy also. So please bear with us. And if we make mistakes, state something incorrectly, feel free to correct us. Trudy has been thinking about whether she's a writer for at least 10 years. Of course, she's been published many times in magazines and newspapers and books, and now has her own book. So I think today she's starting to think, well, maybe I am a writer. Anyway, so we started to think about a book when Trudy had written about 7,000 words outside of articles and so forth, in 3 stories And I think there were like 4 pictures included. And that's when she talked to her publisher back east on if she could help her put a book together. Of course, the publisher was more than happy to do that. All you have to do is give up control and feed a little money into the process and those sort of things. I'm sure all of you writers are very familiar with that situation. And of course, the big concern we had was giving up control. And if you haven't guessed yet, Trudy's a perfectionist. And so everything has to be exactly right. And that's hard to do when you're dealing with a publisher across the other side of the country. Anyway, now Trudy's book has 14 pages of front matter. The book's 345 pages long with 2 additional pages of back matter. That's 361 pages total. As she stated, it includes 182 pictures, over 100,000 words, and they're included in 56 stories and poems. I put the front matter in and then Trudy filled in the details as we went along. You know, we have a half title page, the title page, copyright page, dedication, table of contents, acknowledgments, and a preface. We used Word as a word processor. Trudy's been using a computer for many years. I bought her one when she was still actively being a hairdresser. And at that time, she was still praying and hoping that box under the Christmas tree wasn't a computer. But eventually she got used to it and now she can't live a morning or a day without it.
Yeah.
So anyway, we used Word and we allowed Word to provide a table of contents for the book. So that's where the table of contents came from. And so as the front matter came together and the book started filling in, it started to emerge as a real book. And we started, as we got up to several hundred pages, I think we started doing proof copies. And that only led to more proof copies. We got up as high as 12 different proofs. Of course, in each one, there are always so many errors and corrections and things that you think you have to do. And you probably do have to do it. You know, if you write over 100,000 words and put them in a book, you're bound, no matter how many times you edit or correct, you're bound to have errors, things that you would like to correct. You see, you're all familiar with that, right, Jerry? Okay, so then what we learned from this process was we did finally arrive at what we call the first edition after those 12 proof copies. But anyway, we learned some lessons along the way, and I thought I'd share those with you. And, you know, we decided on a trim size for our book, and we chose 6x9, but mostly that was not that we knew something about that, but it seemed to be the popular size, and so we chose that. And the cover is 1326 by 9.5, and that's with a 1/4 inch trim around the sides. Spine is 70.76 inches. We set up the word processor, or I did, doing the layouts and headers and footers, margins. I did put mirrored margins in and page numbers. We use section breaks and so forth to control the page numbering. And since we used the little Roman numerals up in the front matter. Problem we ran into was we had a print on demand printer, author market. Here's a local printer who prints on demand. Used to be he would print a single volume. It's a little tougher now since COVID and the business gotten a little tougher. But anyway, when we used that printer, his software allowed us to make global changes in the format on his software, so we could see exactly what we're going to get when he prints the book. Didn't realize till quite some time later that not all printers worked in that method. And so when I started looking at Amazon being greatest publisher in the country, publishing some 70% of the books or something like that. I found out that, gee, I didn't set up my mirrored margins the same way they would like to have them in their format. So I ended up going back, changing some of the setup, which required us to redo the formatting the book to some degree and include moving pictures, sizing things, and so on and so on. So the lesson we learned there is you need to try to the best of your ability to get all these issues nailed down before you've put together several hundred pages of your work. Now, if you have a single book which doesn't have illustrations or pictures or drawings, and you're using mother-daughter and so forth, you could probably add things and move things around fairly easily. But with the book that Trudy has, it's a little more complicated with lots of drawings and pictures and things like that. So anyway, that's a lesson learned for us. Do the layouting the way you're going to need it in the final analysis when you go to the publisher or the printer who's going to do your book. So we have illustrations and pictures. So I created a file on the computer where we could store all the high resolution pictures, because pictures, to print pictures, you need to have fairly good resolution. So we put them in a file, and in that file, we page number referenced them so we know where they all are. And additionally, Trudy worked on the authority to use the items. We have things from newspapers, we have photographs. A lot of it is our material, which not that concerned about the rights, but some of the other things we were concerned about the rights. So Trudy has diligently been procuring the right to use things. And most people that we've dealt with, an example would be the Pope. She had a letter from him and she was asking, gee, could we put the letter in the book? And of course, the response was, well, of course, we would be more than happy if you would. And that's a response we got from a lot of people. So newspapers included, some people had a little more concern, but not that much. So copyright, and as I'm sure you're all aware, when you put words together on a piece of paper, you own those words. You essentially own the copyright. We haven't registered the copyright yet. It's still on the to-do list. I guess that means in our minds, at least, it wasn't that high up on the priority list. The ISBN numbers we got from Bonker, which is a source or one of these sources. You obviously can get in many other places. We did purchase 10 numbers on the advice of someone instead of getting just 1 or 3 or some number like that. And we've already used 2 of them, so that was probably the wise thing to do at the time. We also applied to the Library of Congress and got a number there, and we have supplied them with a book, and the library is currently in the cataloging process. So if you go to the library, you won't find it yet, but once it gets cataloged, then it'll be available. Trudy's also a member of the Authors Guild in New York, and through them and some of their blogs and newsletters and so forth, there's talk about liability insurance and the risk of writing a book, specifically a memoir, which talks about other people, and in our case has a lot of pictures, drawings, diagrams, copies of newspaper printings, and so forth. So we looked into that through the insurance company, through the Authors Guild in New York, and we think we're okay there. They've looked at our book and don't seem to think we're going to have a problem there. So we're hopeful that that's the case. We talk about, people that are both, or Trudy talks about people that are both alive and dead. So that was part of the concern there. So yesterday I finally hit the key that said, go ahead and publish it on Amazon. So it's in there. Yeah, it's that's after about, Jerry, that's after about 6 reviews, you know. And when you have 361 pages, it takes a little while to go through the whole thing. But Trudy diligently went through page by page, and I also have gone through it. So we're hopeful it's not too fraught with errors, and that Amazon, they're in their 72-hour review period or however long it's going to take them. So we're thinking, we're hoping that that's going to work out okay. We're also thinking about Ingram Spark. We're at a book signing a few days back and talked to the publisher there. It was self-publisher, about differences between Amazon and Ingram Spark and where the best deals were, and who cost the much. You know, the markup at Amazon is ferocious, but since they command the market with such a huge percentage of sales, it's like, what can you do? I don't know how you all feel about it, but that's the sort of the way we're feeling. We almost think we're bound that we have to go with them, even if they have this big markup. Of course, we have a book that has a lot of pages and it's in color, so it needs good paper, etc. So that pushes the cost up. But be that as it may, we're proceeding forward and doing the best we can. So Trudy, if you haven't dozed off with all my
No,
technical stuff, I'll toss it back to you now.
no. Thank you. Thank you so much. I realized as you talk about Amazon and all those people where we should be able to sell it, when I really first started out to write, and I just wanted to have a legacy. And most of all, when I had all my stories on my computer, and every day I worried, what if I lose them? What if they go goodbye? You know, when you don't know too much about a computer like I didn't, but thanks to Lou, now I know a little more. You just worry about it constantly. So I thought, wouldn't that be great if everything was in a book? Because then it would be organized. So that was really the beginning of wanting a book. So, but if there's a little more time, I would love to just read a few lines from the beginning.
Please read and also show us some of the pictures and everything. We've got plenty of time.
Your time.
So
Perfect. So this is how it starts. Coming to America. We all harbor dreams of greatness. The size will be measured by the memories. Anonymous. Throughout my whole book, I have quotes one after another. I have been loving quotes ever since I was a teenager back in Switzerland. So quotes mean a lot to me. And they, of course, fit the stories. At the airport in Cloten, Zurich, boarding a plane to London, from where I would travel to Southampton to embark on a German ship, the Bremen, for America, I hugged my father adieu. He held me tighter than he ever had. His hug that day remains an unending feeling, and his words would linger in my ears. Udi, his nickname for me, you will not come back. Skruna, my nickname for Dad, I am just going for 1 year. I whispered in his ear. I was crying now. A father knows. I'm an award-winning retired hair designer of trophies in Washington, D.C., New York, in the South, and Arizona. I write in my second language, and I'm in awe of the power of words. There is life after hair. 3 important job offers changed my life in Silver Springs, Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia, and Scottsdale, Arizona, where Lou and I met. Believing trees is a chapter in my memoir. How and where Lou and I met, 2 people from different continents, is the last chapter in my memoir called The Beginning. Some things are simply meant to be at its finest. twists and turns, breaking up, etc. A rocky road from Switzerland and Wisconsin to find gold in Arizona, each other. We live on a lake and golf course where sunrises and sunsets are like prayers. How we found this jewel of a home for over 40 years is a chapter in the book. When some things are simply meant to be, took on a whole other meaning. Loose words, this book reveals the key to happiness. Now, maybe would you like me to talk about the cover?
Yes, yes.
Yes, there's the, let me see, let me just, the Statue of Liberty. This is how I saw it when I first came, before we arrived in New York. I happened to have my copy editor, her husband is a photographer, and he told me, go on the internet, there are many photographers that love for their pictures, for people to use them for free, because they like the, what is it called? The exposure. Well, I did. And when I saw this, I could not believe how close with the streaked sun, it was just exactly like that. And then we have the two palm trees representing Lou and Trudy, and a spectacular sunset from our home here on the patio. So that I just wanted to share that. Then how I started really to write was and it was late in life, really, not until 9/11, when the horrendous attack to the Americans. And it was about a trip to Rome, Italy, in November, when all flights had stopped. I had received an invitation from my French-speaking boarding school I attended when I was 15. A French nun, Saint Françoise Léonie Aviat, was to be canonized by Pope John Paul II, and we were there. A trip so overwhelming from the start to the private audience with the Holy Father, to arriving back home safe, and my little sister's fear of traveling, not knowing if she would get off the plane in Rome from Switzerland. The snowstorm that morning in Switzerland did not stop her, thanks to the power of prayer. That's the title of my story. All I knew was to write all the happenings down after our return. My two sisters also attended the French boarding school, and Saint Léonie Aviat was the co-founder of the nuns that taught at the boarding school. I stayed in touch with my favorite nun until she died 2 years ago at 88. We even traveled to Troyes, France to visit her, Sœur Thérèse Espérance. And this was the story that the editor in Maine wanted to publish in a small book. And I asked her, can I add maybe a poem or two? And she says, oh yes, whatever you want to add. But anyways, then I like to tell you that my book is in sections. Like, for instance, coming to America, Scottsdale, Arizona, our home, going home, faith, my American family, Coronado, California, our getaway, Steamboat, Colorado, our little Switzerland, health, salon memories, sports, football, soccer, only Americans call it soccer, and the beginning, like about the retirement is at the very end. So then I have one more thing. Oh, Oops. That's the wrong page. I'm so sorry. Look, do you have something to say? I gotta find my other page. Whoop.
That's the problem when you got too much to say and you write it down, and then you got too many papers and you shuffle through them, you lose them.
Oh my goodness.
Lou, talk about how your engineering and everything helped so with your computer.
I'm not sure it helps very much.
Really.
You know, the
You're
book business is its own little business all by itself. I mean, okay,
okay.
having some rudimentary knowledge of computers and so forth, I'm sure helps a bit, but the
Talk about
publishing-
your background before you went into the Navy.
Yeah.
So
befo-
like, well,
before-
going into and then into the Navy, because did you think you'd ever be an engineer before you, because you were pretty young when you went into the Navy, right?
I went not into the Navy when I was right out of high school. I was 18 and dumber than dirt and thought I knew everything,
Aw.
as most teenagers did in those days. And so I ended up in the Navy shortly after that, and was there 6 years. And then I got
Can I
out.
butt in? Can I butt in?
Yeah.
The day before he signed up, the officer said to him, you don't weigh enough. Go and eat a lot of bananas and come back tomorrow. And he did. He ate a lot because he was accepted the next day. And to this day, we eat a banana every morning. Okay, that's it.
Trudy loves that story.
I love that story.
That is good. Oh, and just the next day. Oh my gosh.
Well,
Wow.
it's like I say, young and dumb, and far from home. I had gone to Florida born in Wisconsin, raised there, but I'd gone to Florida thinking I was going to set the world on fire, and the fire fizzled on me somehow.
Did you have
And
a
so-
family farm and
We grew up
you
on
a
doing
farm.
this? Okay, what did you raise
What-
there? Was it more
Let's see,
agricultural?
I was born in Milwaukee, but when I was 5 years old, I don't know, I'm not sure you want to get into this, because after I retired, genealogy became sort of a hobby of mine. So I've looked into our family history quite a bit, both mine and Trudy's. But anyway, yeah, I was born in Milwaukee. When I was 5 years old, my grandfather talked my father into moving back to central Wisconsin from Milwaukee and taking over one of his farms. This was sort of my grandfather's retirement plan, patterned after his father, my great-grandfather, who had done the same thing. So we moved back to outside of Boston, Wisconsin, a small town in central Wisconsin, and lived on that farm for about 8 years. While at the time I was in grade school, and that's the one-room schoolhouse that Trudy was talking about. Then when we went to high school, that was in the city of Boston, city being about 3,000 people. That's a large city in Wisconsin. Anyway, so again, I graduated from high school there and went forward from there. Everything went downhill pretty much for me until I was in the service, and all of a sudden I ran into some people there who made me realize that I maybe didn't know everything there was to know in the world yet, and probably I should continue on with my education. So that's basically the story. Fast forward 60 years and here we sit,
So where did the Navy take you? Were you in one location mostly, or did the world open up for you, I guess is what I'm getting at, in the
You mean-
Navy?
Oh, when I was in the service, yeah.
In the service.
I went to school a lot. The Navy saw fit to send me to school. Initially, they wanted to send me to the Naval Academy, but for long story reasons that fell through. But they did send me to a lot of schools, but I also served time aboard ship. That was the time when the Vietnam War was just starting. There was starting to be a buildup over there. We had quote unquote advisors and so forth in country. And so was on several cruises. over to the Far East and into Vietnam, Yankee Station, and so forth. But then that was the end of my sightseeing. After a few years of that, you've probably seen enough. Anyway.
But you still have the travel bug, I know from communicating with Trudy. Is okay. Greetings from, lately.
Yeah,
That is there. Good for you.
Anyway, okay, Trudy, go ahead. I see
Now,
her.
one of my personal stories I wrote is called Intuition When It Matters. And it is about why and Lou left the evening of the high school graduation, not to return. And then when we finally did return, many years later, a picture where Lou and his dad were smiling at each other became the reason for the story. And it is, when Lou read that story the first time, he was crying. So, but anyway, most my stories are about unusual happenings. And one of them is called Dollars from Heaven, where one of my customers' mother promised her daughter that she will send her dollars from heaven after she's gone. And she actually did. So if you don't read any other story, that's a good one. Because that treasure box on her fireplace is filling up, and a few years ago it was like $65, and so it's kind of unbelievable. Then I have a story about going home, about guns in Switzerland, the rumble of freedom, and where I also wrote about why and when I became an American citizen due to lose security clearance, because I never thought I wanted to be an American. I mean, it didn't really matter one way or the other, because when you're from Switzerland, you keep dual citizenship. You don't, even way back when, I did not have to give up the Swiss citizenship. And so then what else? Why my Dare to Be Different memoir, written in the mixed form of both poetry and prose, stands out from others. I dare to break from chronological rules. When you read my book, you can read the end first, or just one of the poems. And when I first started writing poetry in 2008, and the one poem that won second prize at your contest at the Southwest Manuscriptor, we were in Coronado, and I happened to read the winning poem in one of the writers' magazines. And I thought, this doesn't rhyme. I did not know that you can write poetry that doesn't rhyme. I just thought poetry always rhymes. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I could do that. And I wrote a poem, The Dog That Could Not Walk. And my book starts with that poem. And it won $250 at a contest in Chicago. So yeah, so that was where the beginning of my not believing what's happening to me. Like there is life after hair.
Do you have the poem available there?
I have it right here. You want
Go
me to-
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's just one page.
Yeah. And when you get a chance to flip through the book, let us see some.
I wish you could see it. I wish you could
Yes,
hold it. It's really heavy
It looks
because of the good paper, so the pictures show.
well. One of these times you're out to California, you bring some copies,
And
and
I've
when now it's
been-
available too, we can
Hey.
start buying it too.
Good idea.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Was there a word count on the poem? Do you remember?
I don't remember
No,
that.
I'm sure it wasn't that much, but
I don't remember that. No.
right.
Okay, the dog that could not walk. He had no feet, no legs, bouncing up steep steps as if he did. The leash was brown, a string only, I found in hardened mud next to flowers with no name. I had a dog in picture-perfect Switzerland, where I once lived, loved, and had been young. Majestic snow-covered Alps hidden behind dark clouds. It smelled like rain. Again, no sunshine today. A dog's playful steps on a lonely country road. No sounds of barking. My childish joy making me leap, run, blowing in the wind. Thoughts of my seldom smiling mom. Dog hair on her rug and spotless home. Unthinkable. Not hearing the sounds of Switzerland, distant cowbells, church bells ringing only. The shrill voice of my oh so stern, hardworking mom. No dog hair on my hard-earned couch. No dog allowed. I dared to dream. I was 6. Poor, I made do. A child's troubled, avoiding eyes can see far reaching is possible. Radiant amazement is at perfect, not looking like imagined. I had a dog chasing after me on a string. I had a dog that was a ball. No chance to fall. My brother's missing soccer ball. A joyous secret. Noah was his name. Our walks, a distant memory.
That was beautiful. You say that's the one you entered into the
That was
manuscriptors?
One second prize, yeah.
Oh
In
my gosh.
2010, back into.
Wow, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Good for you. And you didn't really realize growing up that someday you'd
I
grow
was
up to
6
be a
years old. I
writer.
was young, you know, you just,
Wow.
yeah.
Tell us some about soccer/football, as you know
Boy.
about football for these
Yeah.
guys, especially because
Oh.
soccer's now become, when I grew up, soccer was not, they didn't have it in schools or anything, but now it's such a popular school. In fact, my youngest granddaughter just started playing soccer.
Oh yeah, when I first came to America, I had to watch soccer on the Spanish channel. They did have. So
That shows
But
you.
I've been writing to FIFA. I've been involved in writing to FIFA, the president, and I would watch the World Cup. You know, the World Cup is every 4 years, the biggest sports event in the world. Sorry, Americans, not football, but we call it football. But anyway, afterwards, I would be upset over certain things, and I would write to FIFA about changing the rules, like changing they only had 2 substitutes. Now they are up to 5, but way back when only 2. And then I would collect signatures. When I would hear somebody with an accent, I would walk up to them and would ask them, do you like soccer? And of course, they used to be from a different country. They knew I meant football, and they would sign my letter. So one time, I did that 4 times. And one time I had 28 signatures. And 3 times they did actually change the rules, maybe not right away, but so we felt a little bit responsible, all my signatures. And then I was lucky enough when we were in Switzerland, I met the president, Sepp Blatter. Of course, he's now the ex-president. And he came to see us at the hotel. And because he, of course, has my book. And of course, I asked him, can I put those letters in my book? Because, the answers came from him. And he says, oh, I would be honored. So
Oh, that's great.
that's
Oh my
nice.
gosh. So did you play a lot of soccer growing up? Is that the main, or what?
Well, yes, my brother is a year older, and wherever he went, he had to tag me along. And when they didn't have enough players down at the local soccer field, they would have Trudy go in the goal. And yeah, I remember my brother come running and help me.
Aw.
Yeah,
That's really touching.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Show us, hold the book up again and
Yeah.
kind of thumb through the pages slowly
Let me
and
just-
let us see some of the,
maybe.
okay, there's, Lou's got the, okay,
What does Lou have?
Lou has the cover and okay, the back too. So Lou, say something so you're on speaker too, so that we
Like, for
see your.
instance, there is a picture right here in Switzerland. That's
Oh,
on top of the map by the Matterhorn.
is that your Saint Bernard or is that the tourist
No.
Saint Bernard?
But they actually took a picture of us, and then because we were in red and white, you know,
Right.
that's the Swiss colors.
Oh,
They-
yes.
They wanted to use the picture down below in Zermatt in the store, probably for advertising. I mean, there's
Oh,
so
I
they
love
used
it.
So I
I
have
love
the
it.
picture right next to my dog.
So you say that that was your dog or that was,
No, that's just to take
that's,
pictures.
I
of
was
them.
going to say
No,
they
no,
provide
no,
a, right.
No.
Aw. Show us the back real quick.
Oh,
Just, yeah, because
okay.
Lou was holding that up.
Okay,
So,
there.
so
it's
is that,
oh,
what is
there,
that? Tell
look.
us about,
That is the picture. You see, those are all the books I was published in on the side. Can
oh,
you
oh,
hold it up again,
wow.
Lady?
Oh, I see.
You are muted. Unmute.
Oh, Lou, unmute
Trudy.
yourself so you can talk a little
There.
when you show up.
We put it up.
Okay.
No, here you
Anyway.
can see it.
That's
Okay.
one of my favorite pictures of Trudy. That's up
Oh.
in Steamboat, Colorado on the core trail along the
On one
river
of our
there.
trails.
It was
Yeah.
in the fall, and that's why you see the grass is all turning brown and she's walking
Oh.
through the tall grass.
And
I love
he
it.
thinks I look like a writer there.
And then
Aw.
Lou, hold up, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's,
And all
but
the
with,
books I
yeah,
was
bordered by
publishing
all the
them.
books. That's very
They are
impressive.
on the side there. That's
That's
Lou did all that, you know. He
so slowly thumb through again.
Yeah, but you know, it's hard to see on the
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's hard because some pictures are small. Oh, here,
Oh,
my brother and sister, and we all match.
Oh,
My
isn't
mom
that
made our
nice?
outfits, and I don't know if you know, but Lou and I were always color coordinated.
oh,
I have
okay.
orange, he has orange. If I have
That's a picture of Trudy that was in the newspaper.
Oh,
The
Trudy, that's
4th of July, she
Oh,
wrote
yeah, I gotta show that. Oh, yeah.
that is beautiful.
they
And the
asked what
Holy Father.
was a contest, what does freedom mean? And
Oh,
how many
wow.
words was that?
Wow.
The newspaper asked the readers to send in 50 words, not more, but you could be less. What does freedom mean? And I wrote, and they used mine, and it was on the front page, and I had exactly 50 words. I can't find it, Lydia. Where is it?
It's on page 50. Anyway, 50 words, 50.
And
Anyway,
the
if you can
photo.
see in the
Oh, there.
picture, that's Trudy. She has a American flag
That is
t-shirt on.
beautiful.
And there's
Who-
a flag in the back. That was the flag that hung out in front of our house.
That
with
was Lou's idea.
the reporter and photographer who came to our house to take the picture said, well, why don't you bring the flag in? We can put that in the background. So you don't see me, but I'm back there holding
Oh,
that
so
flag.
that was actually a professional photographer for the and
Oh, yeah, for the paper, because
For the
and he
paper,
told
yeah.
us that
that's
it probably will be on the front page. It was on the Sunday paper.
oh, that's
because-
beautiful.
And it was right on the 4th of July weekend, you know.
How long ago was that? When was that? Do you
Back
know
in the
that article?
20s.
The 20
Oh,
back in
where
the.
is that? Oh, it's
Aw,
in, oh, here.
wow.
I just found it. Yeah, 49.
Wow. That is such a, oh,
Yeah, here.
yeah, that's
That's it,
beautiful.
yeah. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions or,
When's the last you were in Switzerland? How long ago?
pardon me?
How long ago were you in Switzerland? I know the
It was
pandemic.
2019. That's
Oh.
really the longest because we many times go every year. And we were
Right.
supposed to go this October, but there was a few problems we couldn't go.
Oh.
So, but
How
we'll
much are
go.
the glaciers being depleted?
Well,
Where
ask
you-
Krista. Krista, she and Rita. They
Krista.
will know. They are
Yeah. Krista, how are the glaciers holding up? Because you know, here, most of us in America are very climate change conscious and hurt a lot. So
Can you
you're
unmute
muted.
her?
Unmute
You're
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, unmute yourself.
Can you
There.
hear me now?
Now,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Hear me now.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, first of all, congratulations, Trudy and Lou, to this
Mhm.
book. I think it looks lovely, and I'm very proud to be part
Oh,
tonight also to watch it. For me, it is very emotional and it's very nice to see. So congratulations to your work. And yeah, you asked about glaciers. That's a very sad topic, of course. I mean, yeah, they're going back and it's dramatic to see. And yeah, I think we are all over, also in Switzerland, we are very aware of it. We really need to make steps all together. Otherwise, we see it with the glaciers, others see it with the ocean rising. So really, it's time to act together.
It's almost past time, you know, it's
Yeah.
like, well, hopefully we can some way turn it around, but what town do you live in?
Well, I live in a really small town. It's close to Solothurn, and it's between Zurich and Bern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, welcome. I know it's late there, but this is such a treat for us too.
it's already past midnight, actually.
Well, since
I am usually already sleeping at this time, but this is
Oh.
special, and I really wanted you also to see that we support this, that
Oh,
we
thank
that
you
we are
so much.
proud to.
thank you. I'm going to cry now.
Oh.
Thank you,
I'm
Krista.
I'm
Krista.
her oldest. I'm her oldest sister's daughter. So
Our niece.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they would have watched too, but they don't have Zoom installed, and I just saw too
Yeah.
late that they told me, oh, we don't have Zoom. How do we manage? And
well,
it
we
was
are. It
already
is being
too late.
recorded. It is being
Yeah.
recorded, so you'll get a recording, and you can see it during the daytime hours. Tell them. They
So
don't have
that's
to-
very nice.
Absolute.
Krista, do they have more avalanches now that things are starting to melt more?
No.
I'm not sure whether it's really, I mean, there's always been years where there's more avalanches, and we have avalanches almost every year. So I'm no expert on that topic,
No.
but I think, yeah, of course, this year we also had quite a few, but I think, I mean, since I've been a kid, we always have avalanches every
Exactly.
winter.
And
So-
the news was not like that years ago, when it's right out there and something happened.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's
They-
something
they
we live
always
with.
had avalanche.
It's in every winter we have
Yes.
periods, and of
Oh.
course, when it gets warm really fast, then we have more. But I think it's really the glaciers going back. That's the thing you can really see now. Yeah.
but anyway. So,
Does anyone want to unmute yourself? Anyone wants to ask questions of
Oh, yeah,
Trudy
sorry.
or Lou? Is there anyone?
So I have a question. So in the end, the Amazon, is this a Kindle Direct Publishing?
Yes.
Hello?
Lou said yes, it is. Lou, did you want to elaborate on?
Yeah, well, I'm certainly not an expert at that, but yeah, it is Kindle Direct, and it's a paperback.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could use color with KDP. I thought they only took black and white, so that's good news.
Well,
Color photographs.
you talking about for an ebook?
Yeah, yeah, or just a
Ebooks are-
published paper book.
From what I read, ebooks are just now starting to offer color under some circumstances, and I'm not sure exactly who is doing that, but it's sort of like, you know, when we were younger and we had the black and white TVs. Well, they've gone by the wayside in the interim, and my guess is Kindle and other readers will incorporate color as time goes by here. But right now, yeah, it's a paperback. So KDP they branched out. They do ebooks, they do paperbacks, they do hardbacks. whatever you want, they're going to do it. All you got to do is give them their cut and they're happy.
So Doug, did you, what you said previously or whatever, they even for like just the book, the print on demand, they didn't
Yeah,
accept color, but they obviously do now, huh? For,
yeah, that's good.
huh,
Yeah,
wow.
they offer it, but it does, their rates for color are even higher. And their printing costs are higher. The ink and the paper required if you want.
Yeah,
nice
you gotta have special.
Yeah, pushes but hey, whatever. It's inflation. What can I say?
Well, at least it's available though too, and print on demand, so it's like you
Yeah.
don't have a,
Yeah.
uh-huh. What is the price that they've put on it for the,
$48.
oh, okay, well,
Right. We
as,
were at a book signing here a few days ago, like I said, and the price was
uh-huh,
like $8, you know. But that's the difference when it was a black and white book, no pictures and
right,
off-white pages and so forth. And so the cost goes down dramatically. But as Trudy explained earlier, you know, we don't have any illusion that we're going to sell 100,000 copies. It's just not going to happen. You look at the odds and you look at the authors that publish on Amazon, of which there are thousands, tens of thousands. And then you look at the number who sell any reasonable number of books, a pretty small number. The odds are against you. So if you're selling books, you're one of the few, you know, you're one of the few that is actually made there. So,
but to have it available, when you think of the strides that have been made with the publishing, and it's just, I mean,
yeah,
except for this next big bang that we have, you know, I mean, where everything's going to be whatever, but as long as we keep the electrical grid eventually, you know, to have it as documents within the Ethernet or whatever to have available, that's amazing. And like we were talking, like Judy was saying, she loved getting the right stuff in the hard copy.
I did.
Yeah, but we're
was-
probably not going to be doing
No,
that
I
again
know.
because of printing and mailing costs.
Yeah.
But then to have it on the computer, you can
I
still
know.
have
It's-
the color, you know?
yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that I really liked it at the time.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but now at least to have it on, you know, and
Yeah.
computer quality has improved
Exactly.
so much even over the last,
Thanks to
So,
Gordon.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
we're
it's
right.
the same thing with ebooks, you know, they're really taking over. But Trudy has a friend who's a teacher, and he's got hundreds of books. He says, hey, I want a book I can hold in my hands.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yes.
Yeah.
there are people like that, but
Yeah.
the trend is ebooks. Everything's
Right.
going there.
Well, that's great if you have space for all the books.
Yeah,
You know, that's the
right.
problem if people
Yeah.
get
I know.
mobile and everything.
Mhm.
But well, one of these days when you guys are out in California and it coordinates with, you know, Coronado's not all that far, but
Not that
you know,
far.
come up
No.
and
Yeah.
we'd love to have you join us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anyone else have anything I want to ask of Trudy and Lou?
Mhm.
Wow. Jay, I know Jay's an engineer, right? Jay Simpson? No, oh, I thought you were an engineer. I just know that you knew the printing or whatever also, but I didn't know if you had anything, stories to swap, engineer stories, but
I'm pretty much uneducated.
no. Okay, that's a lie, folks. No.
That must be considering the castle you live in, I see behind you.
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous. Oh, that's Van's. Yeah, that's Van's right there. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we so very, very much appreciate this. This has been such a
Thanks
treat.
for everybody listening. And Chin Sue, are you still there? She's my sister-in-law in Naperville, Chicago. And I saw her picture a little earlier, but there she is. You're
There.
still there, huh?
You want to unmute yourself and say hi?
Yeah. Oh,
Unmute yourself. You're muted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can what'd you say? Can you
If she
unmute
still
there?
is-
Did you unmute yourself?
She doesn't know. maybe.
Okay, you're still muted.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And we just
Thank you,
saw them
Susanna.
2 weeks ago.
Congratulations, Trudy.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
job well done.
Can I just say one more thing about Lou before
Absolutely.
we leave? You know, we were just at the class reunion, and that's when we saw Jim Sue, and we flew to Chicago. But the class reunion, quite a few of his classmates have informed me of during high school, Lou was in the principal's office more than anybody because he did not do his homework. But in his defense, his father had bought a shell garage, and he worked every day after school until closing time at the garage. And then he passed anyway, and he knew the answers, so he just didn't write them down.
And talk,
Anyway, that's what I heard from his schoolmates.
well, he's
that
made
he
it up with
did
all
not.
the homework that needed to be done to
Yeah.
get this
He
book.
didn't
in.
believe in it.
Oh, I don't blame him. That's boring, huh, Lou?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
James, go ahead and say something.
I don't think she read her 50-word essay.
Read your essay, the America, what
You wanna-
freedom means to you.
Would you? Okay.
Yes, we've
Let
got
me-
plenty of time still.
Oh,
We've
let's do
got
that.
until,
Yeah, let's
yes.
do it.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Jay. That's right. We got sidetracked.
You just make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Freedom is the day 9/11 happened, knowing life will never be the same, but your everyday life remaining what it was. Only the memory makes you wonder, the horrors of the world flashing across your television screen, knowing, counting your blessings takes on a whole other meaning. Freedom is America.
Oh, wow. That is okay. Send that to Van
Oh,
if
yeah.
you don't mind, and we're gonna have it again, and the photo with the flag, and
Okay.
I'm volunteering Van to include it in an upcoming
In the
right stuff.
In the right stuff.
in the right stuff for the electronic. Yes, yes. And anyone else that I'm saying right now, because we're trying to rejuvenate now the club. Okay, it's like we've barely hung on by our fingernails,
Yeah.
getting through the pandemic and going back to in person. But this is really exciting now on the Zoom too. So
Bitteschön.
Thank you.
Vielen Dank,
Vielen Dank.
Trudeline.
Ja, danke. Auf Wiedersehen.
and Van, I'm trying to drum up some submissions for when you can get the right stuff going again.
Ach ja. Ja.
Okay.
I guess that's a yes.
That's a yes.
That's a yes.
It's a
So
yes
I'll
and a-
tell anybody here too. It's not just members, all whatever. Well, actually, no. I guess it's we should have just like an Oprah membership anyway. There is a slight fee to actually be, but that only mostly to cover costs when we're in person at the library.
Yeah.
But anyway, well,
Well, it
we
was
wanna-
fun to see everybody. Oh my God.
yes,
Thank
this has
you.
been great. So thank you, Lou. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Jerry.
much.
Thank you.
Trudy, I loved it. Again, when I realized that this could be like a team presentation, but it took this has been so special to
Yeah.
get this combined efforts
Thank
and the beautiful product that's resulted from it.
Thank you.
So thank you so very much. And we look forward to meeting you in person sometime when you're out here.
Hope so. Hope so.
So
Okay.
thank you. And for everyone that attended our Southwest Manuscriptors / Surfriders October 2022 meeting with Trudy and Lou Wells. Thank you
you.
much.
Bye,
So
everybody.
I'm going to go ahead
Bye.
and stop
Bye,
the
Kristen.
recording.
Bye,
Yeah.
Jinsu.
Take
Bye,
care.
Trudy. Bye, Kurt.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Bobby.
Bye. Thanks again for everyone attending. We'll be in touch. This is Jerry Fonte signing off.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.